Robert Zemeckis' new movie. And if you think about it, we can still see a movie from the man who created Back to the Future 30 years ago. How crazy is that? And this movie is basically about this guy called Philippe Petit, I hope I said that right, sounded kind of weird, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And he basically has this passion for high wire walking. He's trying to find the next big place to put his wire, so he finds out about the Twin Towers, which were still in construction by the time this was happening, and this was where he was going to place his wire and walk on it. But doing that is obviously illegal, so he has to get a bunch of accomplices to help him pull this off and bring the wire up to the thing and then do it. So yeah. So The Walk was one of my most anticipated movies of this year. I was more anticipated for this than The Martian. Because Robert Zemeckis, I think, is a very underrated director. He should be up there with Spielberg and Edgar Wright and Christopher Nolan. I think he's one of the best directors there is. And I absolutely adore his movies. Back to the Future, Forrest Gump. Those are both two of my favorite movies. And I was very excited to see what he would do with this story. And this movie also stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is one of my favorite actors. He's made so many great performances. He's impressed me so many times. And I thought this movie would be like maybe my second favorite movie of the year overall. And I was like, yes, Robert Zemeckis, this movie's gonna be amazing. But is it what I was hyping it up to be? No. The Walk still is a very good movie, and I really had fun with it. But I'm just saying it's not like a masterpiece like I thought it would be. I thought this would be for sure like an A+, amazing, outstanding movie. But I do have quite a few problems with this movie, actually. It's definitely not perfect. But before I go to those, I'm gonna go with the pros, obviously. Joseph Gordon-Levitt nails it once again. This is possibly my favorite performance from him. He is outstanding in this movie. A bunch of people thought his accent got annoying. Why? Who cares? It's just a French accent. I thought he did a very good French accent. I thought he was fantastic in this movie. And this guy is a nut job. He is freaking crazy. A lot of the stuff he does is just insane and weird, and he wants to walk between the Twin Towers. That's very strange. And he has a passion for high wire walking, and you'd think since you don't really understand this passion because it's crazy that you wouldn't be able to relate with the character. But I really wanted to see him accomplish this goal. He's very persistent, and I'm sometimes like that. Sometimes I never give up. I keep being persistent, and you can really relate to that aspect of his character. He never gives up no matter what, even if something goes extremely wrong. And I think that was the most relatable thing about his character. See, even though you can't understand his passion very much because it's walking across like a rope really high up, you can still understand that part of him where he really, really, really wants to do this. This is very important to him, and he never gives up. This movie, during its third act, is incredibly suspenseful. I was dying watching the third act of this movie. I mean, it's sort of like a heist movie because they're illegally trying to get this wire across the Twin Towers and then have him walk across it. It's kind of like a heist movie in that sense, and it's very good. It's very suspenseful, and it's really awesome. His gang of accomplices is trying to get to the top during this third act, and there's a bunch of guards they have to avoid, and this is a true story, and they actually got away with this, and that's crazy. And also, they sort of have like a little aspect of this movie where Philippe is sort of narrating his story. I can see why some people wouldn't like that, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was kind of Zemeckis going back to his Forrest Gump type movie storytelling. Except Philippe isn't talking to other people like Forrest Gump was. He's talking to the audience. And I really like that because I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff that he says was what Philippe, the actual man Philippe in real life, actually said. And I really like that because I got to hear what Philippe's thoughts were on the thing. You know what I mean? And also, what's-her-face? I have no idea what the actress is. I am too lazy to look it up. Annie Annie, yeah, Annie. His girlfriend in the movie, who is also one of his accomplices that helps him smuggle the wire up on the top of the thing. She is really good in this movie. I really liked her character. She's probably my second favorite character in the movie. And she's kind of cute. But I really liked her because she was sort of another artist like Philippe was, except she sort of sings. He does weird stuff like wire walking and juggling and stuff, so... And I thought they were a very good couple in the movie. And also, the whole segment where he's actually walking across the wire is incredible. It's so suspenseful, especially with his narration explaining what was going on inside his head while this was happening. The CGI is flawless. Like, the entire ground, all the buildings, all the cars, that's all CGI. And he walked across the thing, and it's up really high. It looks so real. I saw this in 3D. It was definitely worth it. I really felt like I was up there with him, and I was like... I mean, there was also this really weird guy in the theater with me who was like going like... During that sequence, he was literally making really weird, freaked out noises. Strange guy. He was interesting though. My issue with The Walk, though, is that the first 2/3 of this movie are nowhere near as good as the last third. I still enjoyed the first 2/3, but it was nothing that blew me away like the third one did. The first 2/3 are basically just him finding his accomplices and planning this whole thing and sort of his origin story, and the last third of this movie is way more interesting by far. And also his accomplices in this movie, they're not that good. The only characters I really liked in this movie were Philippe and his girlfriend. The other characters were just kind of there. I didn't really care about them. They weren't fleshed out enough. I mean, this movie's characterization is honestly really poor. Because the only character that we really care about is Philippe, and we want to see him. And the other characters are just kind of boring, and you don't care about them. Because we want to see Philippe, because this movie is about him. He's the star of the show. And they flesh him out way more than any of the other characters, by far. And also, Ben Kingsley, great actor, but I felt like he was very underused in this movie. I was expecting him to be like Rocky's Mickey to Philippe. I expected him to be in the movie a lot more, sort of like Mickey to Rocky. You know what I mean? While he's there, he had some great scenes, but Papa Rudy, I really just felt like I wanted to see more of him. He would have been really great, but he wasn't in there enough. But overall, The Walk is a really good movie. It just disappointed me with its first 2/3 a little bit, and that a lot of the characters weren't very good in this movie, except for JGL? Except for Philippe and his girlfriend. I didn't care about anyone else, and those aspects of The Walk did disappoint me. But the last third of this movie really makes up for it. It is fantastic, the last third of this movie. And also, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performance as Philippe, I think he deserves an Oscar nomination for this. I thought he was fantastic in this movie, and one of the best performances I've seen all year. So with all that said, I'm gonna give The Walk a B+. So guys, go see The Walk. It's a great movie. And yeah, do it. A Bridge of Spies next weekend. Yes! Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah.